Hey, Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now. We're going to get into the top 5 prospects I think the Eagles should 100% look at drafting with 1 or maybe 3 of their possible first-round draft picks in 2022. First, though, as we always say, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We're trying to get to 22,000 subscribers here, and we're at 21,416. So if you like what we do, show us your appreciation by going down below and hitting the red subscribe button. All right, as I mentioned, it's very early right now to talk about the draft. I think Philadelphia is kind of turning maybe a possible corner here. If they beat the Saints on Sunday, that'll go a long way towards a potential playoff run. But it's never too early to go ahead and talk about potential draft prospects. And as you go ahead and watch college football on Saturday, I give you some names that you kind of go, oh, Mott mentioned him. He could be a possible first-round draft pick. And again, these are all first-round draft picks. We're not going to get into second and third and fourth and fifth because it's too early. So quit DMing me on Twitter and be like, Thomas, who should we take in the 5th round of the 2022 NFL draft? I don't know yet. I haven't done my research, okay? I focused on first-rounders only, and then, of course, actual games because it's still 2021, right? You get my point? All right, so draft needs. These are very, very obvious. I don't even have to really explaining each one, but we need a pass rusher, 100%. Derek Barnett's not going to be here. Obviously, coming off a major injury is Brandon Graham. You need someone alongside Josh Sweat. Pass rusher for sure. Linebacker, goodness gracious. Please draft a linebacker somewhere in the top 3 rounds. Davion Taylor's played well the past couple of weeks, but get me an actual legit 10-year starter at linebacker, please. Cornerback, Steven Nelson's not going to come back. I wouldn't want him to come back. Slay's played great. Get somebody opposite of Slay. Of course, wide receiver, it's Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, and nobody. Rager's a bust. I mean, I'm so done with Jalen Rager, so you got to get a wide receiver at some point. So let's get into the 5 prospects. You've probably heard some of these names because they are big-time names, but these are your 4 big positions of need. So here are the 5 players who could fill those big positions, starting with probably my favorite player in the draft, and that is Derek Stingley, the cornerback out of LSU. Jalen Ramsey is all I keep thinking and all I keep seeing whenever I watch LSU's defense play this year. They've not been great overall, but Stingley is easily the best player on that team and one of the best cornerbacks to come out of the of college football in a very, very long time. And as I mentioned, you're not going to keep Steven Nelson. Like, there's no way they're going to bring him back next year. And cornerback is a position that they've tried to get right the past couple of seasons. And the Slay trade a couple of years ago was definitely a good move. And we're seeing the flourishes of that the past couple of weeks. But you need somebody young to build through. And just imagine Slay on one side and Stingley on the other. This is a week 1 NFL-ready cornerback. Think Patrick Surtain from last year, who was a starter and playing great football for Denver. I love this kid. I think he's going to be a top 10 pick. I think he's going to fall a little bit because all the quarterbacks are going to go because they always do. And so you might not have to spend your first-round draft pick or your first-round draft pick on him, but your second-round draft pick could be between 5 and 15, and maybe Stingley is kind of a guy you go ahead and target there early in the first round. What's the biggest need you think the Eagles have? I mentioned my 4 big needs earlier: defensive end, linebacker, cornerback, and wide receiver. What is the biggest need for the Eagles? Let me know down below right now in the comments section. All right, next player, maybe tied for my favorite in the NFL draft, is Kayvon Thibodeaux, or Thibodeaux, if you want to say his last name, the defensive end out of Oregon. The guy is an absolute monster. He's had a fantastic season, despite the fact he's missed a couple of games, including the big Ohio State win that the Ducks had on the road up there in Week 3. This is just Chase Young, right? This is Jadeveon Clowney. This is insert the best pass rusher in the draft the past couple of years, TJ Watt. This is who it is. I mean, this would seriously be easily the best pass rusher on Philadelphia day 1. And you got to think about the current defensive line. Barnett's not coming back, and they shouldn't bring him back. He had a sack against Denver on Sunday, but another penalty. The guy's just a mess. He's going to release him, not pick up his option. Bye-bye. Obviously, talking about another guy who's had literally 0 impact in terms of a pass rusher potential. That, of course, was a former Washington football player who it just doesn't make any sense. And I'm blanking on his name right now. I don't have the list in front of me right now, but it's the guy from Washington who has played so poorly that I just can't even name his name, but he's going to be gone as well. Obviously, Brandon Graham is coming off an injury, so he's going to be back, but is he going to be 100%? Josh Sweat's the best pass rusher on this football team. You've got to get another pass rusher. I think Thibodeaux is someone you should 100% take a look at, and I think he could be a top 4 pick. Again, the quarterbacks are going to push these guys back a little bit, and so maybe that Miami Dolphins pick you get could be the Thibodeaux draft pick that you take at 3 or 4 or 5 in the NFL draft. Okay, before we go ahead and move on, quick shout out to our friends at BetUS, richchatsports.com/EaglesBet. Promo code is Eagles125. Get that 125% deposit bonus whenever you first sign up. A lot of new people are getting into the betting game, and it's the best place to do it is BetUS. It's the one that I use every single week, the one I win money at almost every single week. I've done a pretty good job this year. So jump into the betting game. Chatsports.com/EaglesBet, promo code Eagles125. Okay, next player on our list, he's going to get a lot of hype and a lot of love as we approach April. That, of course, is Kyle Hamilton, the Notre Dame safety, who people are saying is the best safety to come out of the draft since Jamal Adams. I mean, they absolutely love this guy. They compare him to the Charger safety. Derwin James gets a very similar comparison to this guy. And while I like him, and I think Philadelphia will definitely take a look at him, I'm not that high on safeties in the NFL. Like, I think safety is an important position, but it's getting less and less so. Like, with the modern NFL rules protecting wide receivers and protecting cornerbacks, you can't really have a hard-hitting Ed Reed or a Brian Dawkins in the National Football League, a Troy Polamalu, and that's kind of what you see Kyle Hamilton as, a Derwin James who can hit you in the mouth and also play good coverage. He would obviously be an upgrade to the current defensive backfield that they have right now, and Kayvon Wallace had a blocked field goal in the win against Denver, but really hasn't been the future at safety we thought that he could be possibly when he was drafted a couple of years ago. And so while I wouldn't mind it, it's not really, it's not really a guy that I would spend your first-round draft pick on. Maybe the third first-round draft pick on if you already got a pass rusher and a wide receiver, or a pass rusher and a linebacker. But I will put him further down on my list, but he is included on here because he's the best player at his position and a top 5, top 10 player according to everybody's overall draft big boards. Before we get into the fourth player, which is a linebacker, which is very, very important. You want to know this guy's name. Do you guys think the Eagles will have a top 5 pick in 2022? It really depends on, I think, the Dolphins right now. That win against the Ravens on Thursday Night Football definitely did not help. If you guys think the Eagles will have a top 5 pick, though, type Y down below for yes. Think that they will not, maybe it'll be 6, 7, or 8, type N down below for no. The best linebacker in the draft is Devin Lloyd. Get used to his name. You're going to be seeing it a lot over the next couple of months here. He's a linebacker out of Utah, therefore he's not getting a lot of love nationally, but he's fantastic, and honestly, the Eagles must draft a linebacker this year. And I've hounded on this for months and months and months, and maybe even years, that the Eagles are so terrible at not addressing the linebacker that it's infuriating. Here's your chance. There's one from Alabama that I like as well, but Lloyd is really the best of the group, and so, again, you wouldn't spend your first-round draft pick on him, but if you have the Colts pick at 12, 13, 14, 15, Lloyd is going to be there and instantly becomes a starter at linebacker in Philadelphia and instantly improves one of the worst position groups on the entire football team. And so, again, you get a pass rusher, linebacker, wide receiver, pass rusher, cornerback, wide receiver, cornerback, linebacker, wide receiver. These are all options with your 3 first-round draft picks, and I'm a massive, massive fan of Devin Lloyd, even though he will not get a lot of love nationally until we get closer to the NFL draft. All right, final player on this list, I wanted to include a wide receiver. Again, there are plenty of other players I did not mention, but I think you have to at least go ahead and throw Chris Olave into the discussion. I think he's the best receiver in the draft. There's some debate about a couple of other guys who are going to be first-round draft picks, but Olave has all the route running, all the speed, all the elusiveness, run after catch. He's very similar to Devontae Smith, just a little bit bigger. And so you kind of imagine Smith's going to be in year 2, fantastic. You need a Batman to his Robin, or a Robin to his Batman, and Olave makes a ton of sense because Jalen Reagor's not it. We really wanted him to, and I was really excited, and I thought he'd have a bounce-back year, but it's very clear that Reagor just doesn't have it. And he'll still be on the roster because he's a rookie, and you spend a first-round draft pick on him, but he keeps going down the depth chart, and he'll eventually become the J.J. Arcega-Whiteside of the next couple of years, where Whiteside is in on very few plays, but for blocking. And so Olave is a need. I think wide receiver is a need. I don't know if I would spend a first-round draft pick on a wide receiver, so maybe you don't get Olave specifically, but getting a wide receiver to bolster the wide receiver depth chart to me is extremely important. So second-round draft pick, third-round draft pick, we have a ton of draft picks. And so if you're not going to get one in free agency, the draft has a lot, and Olave is the best of the group. And so, again, if you wanted to go pass rusher, wide receiver, linebacker, or cornerback, linebacker, wide receiver, these, you could fill so many holes if you spend your 3 first-round draft picks on players that don't play the quarterback position. Okay, which of the 5 did you guys want the most out of the 5 that I gave you? I'll say it one more time. Stingley, the cornerback out of LSU, Thibodeaux, the defensive end out of Oregon, Hamilton, the safety out of Notre Dame, Devin Lloyd, the linebacker out of Utah, or Chris Olave, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. Of these 5, which prospect would you guys like the most? Let me know down below in the comments section. All right, ultimate time we have for today on our Philadelphia Eagles Now draft prospect video. Plenty more of these to come, and over the next couple of months, we get closer to the actual NFL draft. We do the best coverage on YouTube, in my opinion, on getting you guys ready for all the rumors and news and draft stuff, so subscribe down below to the channel. Again, we're approaching 22,000 subscribers and would like to get that sooner rather than later, and so if you appreciate what we do, go down below and subscribe. All right, ultimate for today on again, it's technically a victory Tuesday, because they did win on Sunday. I'm still riding off the high of that, so props to them. Excited for this Sunday, beat the Saints. We'll talk more about it over the next couple of days here. But for Philadelphia Eagles Now, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off for the rest of your day.